All right.
I was going to say something so inappropriate.
All right. So, really? Really, Alexa? You got to start your shit already?
All right, I got Sapphire. So,
Okay.
dismiss.
So, Alexa. Not you. Shush.
Yes.
The Duchess and I are in here yapping away, and I go, okay, it's time to go. And I look, and I never set up the show. I'm like, oh, no.
Oops.
Oopsie daisy. Whoopsie. It's 7 o'clock.
It happens.
But you know what? Very, very fast to get in here. There we go.
Hey,
First.
Dean.
So no disclaimer. You guys know what the disclaimer. You know what the disclaimer is, and that other stuff we do. It's just for people to get in here. You know, they see the announcement and they're like, "Oh, let's go
I could read it
and watch the Boomer Bunker." Well, I mean, we don't really need it. We don't even need the music.
No.
To be honest with you, the beginning music. I think the beginning music just gets me fired up, gets me psyched. You want the Duchess cartoon? Okay, hold on. Here's the Duchess cartoon. This cartoon here is that is.
I look like Mila Kunis.
That
I wish.
That right there is I took the cartoon, Duchess's cartoon, and I said, make this cartoon a biker babe, an outlaw biker babe, and that's what came up. And then
love the hair.
Said, okay, make me an outlaw biker. And then that's what I came up with, some kind of Japanese cartoon.
It's like
Dean,
Wolverine and something.
Dean needs
Dean.
tissues.
Ew.
Sorry, Dean. Yeah. And then that's all because of what's going on in Aurora, Colorado.
Yes. Well, I think we're on all
and then-
platforms.
So, all right, I have something that I want to propose to you. Jamingo anime. Yeah, it's basically what that is. All right, so listen to this, and then let's discuss. Same way with you, chat. Let's discuss when we get done here. Here we go.
My husband slept with my sister so that we could have a baby. For some background, I have an identical twin sister and I have fertility problems. She does not. My husband and I have been struggling to have a baby for the last 6.5 years. Without telling me, my sister and my husband decided to sleep together to get pregnant and surprise me that they are having a baby. And my sister wants me to have this baby and raise her baby after she slept with my husband. And he says that it's fine because it's like a surrogacy and it's the same thing and like genetically it's my baby. My sister says it's no big deal, that she's happy to do it for me. This is not the same as surrogacy. This is not the same as my egg going inside her and doing a fertility treatment. She slept with my husband. And my husband says that it's not cheating because it's basically the same lady parts. Because we're genetically the same. So it's the same lady parts, is what he says. Therefore, it's not cheating.
Oh my God. Oh my God. They were going to sleep together no matter what.
I'm just going to say something right here, right now. As soon as he found out that she had an identical twin, he was trying to figure out how he was going to end up sleeping with both of them.
Yep.
Because that's that fantasy that's always in the back of your mind. I don't know, men are breeders, and you see something like that, and you're like, okay.
Breeders.
Okay. Men are breeders. That's what we are. Males are breeders. We are the breeders. That's why it only takes one man. And that's why we have, listen, that's why women have one egg once a month, and we have millions and millions of sperm every day. That's why that is. I'm sorry. I know you can get mad at it all. That's just the biology of it.
That's not what I'm annoyed about. Just the way you're like, we're breeders.
We are. I know. It's just, it is. All right. Sparky Toaster's weighing in.
Totally agree.
It is her
Sparky.
egg, not yours. If they were to have a baby with both of them, the DNA would be the same between the two babies.
Now,
And
would
that
it?
is true. Yes.
said-
Let's say, all right, watch this. In the genetic field, okay, they're identical twins. If by chance, after this happens and she has this baby and the wife gets pregnant and has a baby, they will be identical DNA match. Isn't that crazy?
That's wrong. All that is just so wrong. She was not included in this conversation for a reason.
There's a problem. That's an issue.
That's a problem. It's not like she said, "Here, sleep with my sister. I want a baby. She can have babies." No. That's not what happened. They snuck around. This wasn't or am I the asshole? Yes, you're both assholes. You're both disgusting people. That is just shameful. That is just terrible.
Well, if I'm going to take the other side of this, and I am,
Of course.
they were
Breeder.
trying. What a gift that her husband and her identical twin gave them. She couldn't have a baby. What a gift! She is giving her a child that she can't have.
Maybe.
And-
Maybe.
Well, they haven't had any luck yet. I mean, they've probably been.
I bet
going
she
at
doesn't
this-
get pregnant for a long time, and they just have to keep trying and trying and trying and trying.
What are you talking about?
Wouldn't that be interesting? Well, maybe if the husband and the sister, they don't get pregnant right away.
She's pregnant.
So she's just.
She's pregnant.
Was she pregnant
Oh, yeah,
already?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So she's pregnant.
I think I clocked out a bit when I heard she slept with my identical twin sister without telling me. I was like, just a lot of white noise happened. Like,
yes.
sorry, that's still disgusting.
What an amazing gift to give your sister, a baby, when she can't have
No.
one, and she's been trying to have a baby.
No, that's not how you bring life into the world. You don't just have a baby and be like, here, take it. No.
Mike says the issue was she kept blowing her chances to get pregnant. Oh. All right, look.
It was a vapor lock.
This is
You're right.
in all seriousness. Sorry. Why won't this? Oh, I see what's going on. In all seriousness, the issue is that they did not tell the wife
Yeah.
that they were doing this.
Well,
And-
how's the wife supposed to react? Like the husband's gonna come in. Guess what? I made a baby with someone else to
I gotta
give
be
to
honest with
you.
I got to be honest with you. This is going to go one of two ways.
I know it's
The
gonna
first
happen.
way will be the sister will have the baby, and the wife will reject it because it's a constant reminder of the
course.
infidelity
Absolutely.
and the broken trust of both of them.
Yes.
Or
And
she'll
literally
see
her
that
twin
little-
sister.
right? Or she'll see that little baby melt, and she'll take it and raise it as her own. I think it's going to be the first one.
I think there's another option where the husband says, "Fuck this! I'm staying with the one who can get pregnant," and that's the end of that. Or there's one more. I guess there's a fourth option where the sister who gets pregnant decides she doesn't want to give the infertile sister the baby.
There's a lot of
There's a lot of
scenarios
things
here
that can happen here.
that could really go
I
wrong.
wish we could follow up on this one.
I need to follow up on this. I
Yeah,
have
we
to
need
go
to-
find this lady and find out what happens.
You have to
because I need
stalk
know
her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's-
I'm just again, you
Yep.
think, oh, what a great way, what a beautiful surprise that your husband and your sister gave to you, and then I'm like, but you didn't tell her, and you scumbag, in the back of your mind,
He
you're
knew.
like,
He
I want to
totally
bang the
was a weasel.
sister, and this is
That's
a way.
exactly what it was.
And whose idea do you think this was? Think
The
it was
husband's totally.
It was.
Well,
the
I think they both were interested in doing each other. So
You know
you don't
something?
just come to that like, hey, I got an idea, and like, ding, the light bulb goes on. That they've been
Well-
working at it, or they've been doing this for a bit.
Oh my God!
Wait,
So
where's the
you're
soap
saying-
opera? That dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
All right. So you're saying that they were sneaking around behind her back, and the sister happens to get pregnant,
Maybe. Yeah.
And now
Look
they're
what we
like,
did
what do
for
we do?
you.
What do we do? I know. We'll tell her that we're giving her the baby because she can't get pregnant. And how can you get mad at that? I think we
Well,
need
let's see. We need to share that. That link needs to go into our Discord, and we need to follow this
follow up
poor
on
woman.
this. Yeah.
I cannot imagine her comment section on this video has got to be people like, "Girl, run," because that's a run.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think that this could be a thing where he ends up going, and that's going to ruin the family. If he ends up divorcing the one sister and then remarrying the other sister, not
Be
saying
awkward
that
at picnics.
well, they would never.
They don't need new wedding pictures, and it's the same face. Oh, that's so bad.
Same family
Holy
members,
shit.
mom and dad, everybody's
Mom and
there.
dad are still there.
They're
It's
all there.
literally
We
the
saved-
same people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a twofer. Yeah, that's bad. That's so bad.
Now, when she said that, when I first saw it, I said, "Oh, I can't wait to let Duchess hear this one. This is going to be a good
Oh,
one."
that's so bad. I mean, look, if they had a rational discussion, although I'm not sure. Did you ever see, God, a million years ago, The Big Chill?
No, I have never seen The Big Chill.
You're not missing. It's not my favorite movie. My mom loved it. It was always.
All my friends said that was our friends group, The Big Chill. Like we had a group of friends, and that was the
I can
Big
see
Chill.
that. Yeah.
And I didn't. I never, for some reason, I couldn't get through the movie. It was like boring. It's like
It is boring.
Yeah, it's a really boring movie, and I was like, I don't even care.
The music
this
is probably
is-
the best thing about it.
Yeah, of
honestly, the
course.
soundtrack. Well, there's a storyline through that's similar to this, but I'm not going to bother explaining it. So, I wonder if Dean's seen The Big Chill.
I don't know.
He's way behind on his movies.
Bob says if you don't buy a Tesla, you're gonna see The Big Chill. I think that has something to do with climate change.
Climate. Yes.
Climate change. I thought that. Wait a minute. No, Bob. If we don't buy Teslas, we're going to see the big heat because it's supposed to be. The Earth is getting warmer, not the big chill. That was what they said in the 90s, or the 80s. In the 80s, if we don't turn this around, we're going to have an ice age. And then everything started getting hotter, and they're like, "Fuck! Now what do we do?" All right, Sparky says, how many other times has the sister done this with other guys her sister has dated through the years? Good point.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
See, I meant to say that. So in other words, it's like sometimes you have brothers, sisters that are that close in age. They have this really intense rivalry. So the sister tries to steal the other one's boyfriend. And I know a lot of times I shouldn't say this. Okay. There are times, I've heard of times, I've seen stories of times where identical twins date each other's boyfriends and don't tell them. Or maybe that was a Penthouse Forum article.
I was gonna
can't
say.
really remember, but it was something.
It was a blur.
Yeah. Oh, Budbugger
believe it.
says it's a porn hub Patty Duke.
Oh dear.
All right.
That's a terrible. That's awful.
You think?
So like she just the whole thing, like she can't get pregnant,
Right.
and then her sister, her twin sister, because usually twins have that kind of bond that is different than other siblings, right? So you're completely betrayed by your twin sister with your husband, like all the trust. This poor soul, like when she made this video, she just was like, so like she's very matter of fact about it, but I was like, she's got to be like shell shocked on that.
I would be like, if I was the wife, I would say, I'll tell you what, you better
Everybody out.
you better start eating whatever you need to eat, oysters or whatever to get, because I need you. We're going to have sex. I don't know how many times a day, and you better get me pregnant. And then they end up having babies like together, like one's like a couple months apart or something like that. But I mean,
Yeah, good Lord.
there's just so much to that story that really we need more
I
information.
feel like there's more background on it, but it sounds like from what I understand, for families for couples who try very hard to get pregnant, it is very difficult. It's financially outrageous, but it's also like very stressful on the relationship. So I can't imagine if they were trying for 6.5 years. That had to have been tense. And I'm sorry. There's not that there's an excuse for what the husband did and the sister. Shame. I mean, betrayed by literally your own blood. That's really awful. I know families suck sometimes, but wow.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, that's a cheery story to start.
All right, well, here's another one. This one really
Oh,
cracked
no.
me. I got another one for you.
Well, the snake is officially eating its tail. Female porn models have apparently discovered that transgender porn, pornography where males pretend to be women, is so lucrative that they are pretending to be transgender. Very disturbing that there's even a market for this to begin with, but that's a video for another time.
Okay. So if you're not following at home.
Okay.
Transgender porn is where transgender women do porn. All right. They're back in the day, it used to be called chicks with dicks. All right. So
Yes.
all right. So now what women are doing is because trans women are making so much money at trans porn, actual biological women are pretending to be trans and selling only
Women can't even have porn. We can't have sports. We can't have our own locker rooms. We can't even have our own porn.
Well,
So
wait
great.
a minute. Hang on. I think
Have
this
to
is
pretend
amazing.
to be.
Listen,
Oh my god.
I think this. Bob says stolen valor.
Stolen
No.
valor.
I think this is finally where the tables have turned and say where the women are like, "How do you like it? Now we're coming into your fucking spaces. We're stealing your fucking money, and and again, we're pretending that we're trans. So it should be the same. There shouldn't be any problem with this.
God.
All right, here we go.
Here's the lowdown. On August 30th, an X account by the name of Silly Lily TS posted a short clip advertising an OnlyFans account. Despite being captioned with a trans pride flag, both of the individuals in the clip are biologically female. These women appear to have stuffed an
All right,
Oh my god. They
I
look
don't
like they're
know.
kids.
okay, but
How
if
old
you
are
look at
these
the lower
ding-dongs?
regions, you can
Oh,
see that
that's
they have.
disgusting.
It looks like they're packing some sausage. All right, the one's got one. It looks like she's hanging to the right. The other one's got like a bulge, fake bulge, and so again, I think this. I'm 100% behind this. Although now that they've been outed, they're just regular old girls doing porn. But whatever.
Well, is that a
object
bad
in their
thing?
pants to make it
What's that?
Is that like you're like it's just plain women having porn, doing
Yeah, it's
porn?
just regular
Wah, wah.
old women doing porn,
Oh,
or
sorry.
showing their bodies. Okay.
female.
terrible.
These women appear to have stuffed an object in their pants to make it seem as though they had male genitals, and both of them have fashioned their entire online presence to lead others to believe they're transgender. But again, they're not. They're just pretending to sell porn to men who are into that for some reason. But apparently these women's performances are not actually convincing to actual trans-identified males who are outraged that these women are pretending to be men. The video garnered over 2.2 million.
Okay. That's so unfair. How dare you pretend you're a man?
How dare you
The,
pretend
the
that you're
male
pretend-
indignation reeks.
How
gross.
dare you females pretend to be males pretending to be females? That is over the top.
You know that I know that you know that I know. You're chick.
Pretending to be men. The video garnered over 2.2 million views and was even slapped with a proposed community note, which one can only assume was written by a pissed off trans activist accusing the women of being frauds. In the comments section, thousands of trans identified males have gathered to condemn these women.
All right, I got to back.
That's
these up.
what the problem is. Like, right, this is where we're going to gather. Let's get all the trans and we're going to yell at these two ladies.
Right.
Very
How
young, by
dare
the way.
How
Pretend.
dare you pretend to be a man pretending to be a woman? That is outrageous. You're
Can I read
stealing-
what Bob wrote?
Go ahead.
It says, women who used to be men but are pretending to be women might enjoy women pretending to be men pretending to be women.
That is so fucking meta.
That is
I can't
brilliant.
even. All right.
I figured I'd read it because you'd be like,
Yeah.
what?
So here's the comments in the chat. It says,
shit.
"We know you're both fake. If you want to do NSW content, well then sure do it. Hell, I do, but don't get in our space. Don't you
Yeah, we're
biological
busy
women
pushing you out of your
come
own
into our
space.
space while we're coming into your spaces. It's
Exactly.
okay if we come into your spaces. We're women, but you can't come into our trans spaces. It's
Because
like,
you
know what
weren't
it's-
men.
You know what it's like? It's like when you were a kid and you had a clubhouse and
rude.
you put
Yeah.
no
No
you put up
girls
a sign,
allowed.
no girls allowed. No girls allowed. We're playing girls in here. No girls allowed. Bob says NSFW, not safe for women.
Truth. Truth.
What do they do for the money shot? Spit on them. Okay. All right. I'll go with that.
Identified males have gathered to
Here's another one. This is harmful as hell to trans people. To bait like this, you will have to stop at some point.
Stop.
You're
Stop
stealing our
fucking-
money as we pretend to be women. You're pretending to be men that are pretending to be women. That's not
I can't even.
fair.
It's not fair.
That's not fair.
condemn these
taking our
women,
people.
accusing them of appropriating trans identity and
Oh, we're appropriating.
Oh, what?
Hold on here. Let me back up a little bit. If they're appropriating trans identity, wouldn't the trans people be appropriating?
There we go. Let's get there.
Wait
Are
a
you
minute.
are you there? Are you almost there?
I don't know. I think. Wait a minute. I don't think you should be allowed to falsely identify as a trans person.
But you can identify however you feel fit on
Right.
everywhere else except here. Except here, right?
Yes.
If I want to, didn't Piers Morgan go on and say if I want to be a black lesbian, I should be able to identify as a
And
black
they went, well,
lesbian?
that's ridiculous.
Well, because you're being silly. Because you're clearly a man. But what's a man? What's a woman? Who knows?
I mean,
What?
should somebody tell these trans
Fucking
men
ridiculous.
that when they sit there and say that they're, identifying and this is cultural appropriation, that they are also they're the originators of the cultural appropriation? Does somebody
Thank you,
have
gentlemen.
to go out there?
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen, for showing us how to do it.
Right.
And then again, women come along and do it. Be like, that's not right.
Sparky Toaster
Mind your
says,
space. Yeah.
Sparky Toaster says, I identify as a toaster, a sparky one.
I like sparky toasters.
Yes. All right, here we go.
invading transgender spaces. Oh, the irony. The sweet, sweet irony. To summarize, these women are being accused of being frauds by men pretending to be women for pretending to be men pretending to be women. And it kind of gets sweeter because one of the main reasons the women were found out is because they're apparently too beautiful to be trans.
Well. How the turntables.
While I'm absolutely opposed to the porn industry, I've got to admit, this is a pretty genius turn of the tables. After all, these men have been invading women's spaces for ages. Time for them to
Yes.
get a little taste of their own medicine, right? And it makes me wonder if any of these stunning and brave men in lipstick will have their own light bulb moment about their made-up identities. I doubt it, but a girl can hope.
Which girl? Which girl? Like a Dylan Mulvaney girl, or that like an actual girl, or someone who claims to be a girl? What about someone who's like is just neutral, like gender neutral, gender fluid, right? I can't even.
I don't know. There's a lot going on there.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
It is.
That is beyond. That this isn't even a discussion.
All right, so I found that about on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I found it Friday. Yeah, Friday, and I was saving it.
I
for
saw something like
today.
that on Twitter. So
All right,
It's-
and
or X, whatever.
since I found that and played it, I now get trans girls. I get trans women on TikTok. They're like they're like,
you're gonna have to clean that feed up real fast, John.
do I gotta now I gotta go out and search hunting videos.
I gotta
now.
find all the porn stars, like real ones.
Because they're like, and I'm not going to lie.
Click on Pixie, you'll find her.
First of all, I'm not going to lie. A lot of these trans women, the guys that are pretending to be women,
Yeah.
they fucking look.
Some
like
look really
women.
good.
I mean,
Some of them look really good,
If
yeah.
you wouldn't, they didn't tell you they were trans, you would never know. There's another one. There's a TikTok. I think Bob's talking about this, where there's I don't know some cotton candy haired girl in there with the piercings and shit, and tattoos. And she's like, I'm sick and tired of people using the word breastfeeding. It should be chest feeding. I'm like, go fuck yourself. See, this is the problem. The people
No,
that are
because
normal,
your chest is a whole space. You can't feed from your chest. You feed from your breasts
right,
that are on your chest. That's
Right.
where all the milk is.
right.
I can't.
I should, be honest with you. I think it should
Parents
be
need to slap her.
milk wagon feeding.
Milk wagon, gross. Gross. That's so terrible.
I don't know. It's like everybody's got to jump into this whole thing and be ridiculous. It's like when the girl goes, "Oh, I'm tired of people using the word breastfeeding. It should be chest feeding." Go fuck yourself. Yeah, the milk wagons. Woo woo. This is the world we live in.
Oh, you're a boob man, so that's your thing.
I am a boob man. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to apologize. And I
There you go, Bob.
believe.
Bob said, I dropped food on my chest yesterday, pulled up my shirt, and licked it clean. That is chest feeding.
I've
There
done
you go.
that. I've done
Oh
that.
my God. I don't think
Drop
I've done that
something on
since
it.
I was like 10. Mike,
is
can you please get that?
he's clamoring-
7:26.
He's clamoring for this pen right now to write that down.
I want that. I want that gift.
Okay. So
Sorry.
I got a cramp on my leg. All right.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go from I'm going on with this cramp because I am what's that called? I am a trooper.
Resilient.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I believe that all this nonsense started from the time we started gentle parenting. Okay. You ready?
All right,
You
you're
ready
a
to
little-
get into this?
Are you blurry?
I am
you might be
blurry,
a little
and I
blurry.
don't care. Fuck it.
Okay.
This is a video. It's an audio podcast. I don't understand why I'm blurry.
Oh, there you
I
go.
don't
No, you
care.
cleared up just now.
There we
Oh,
go.
you're okay.
Because I'm jumping around, I'm moving around because I got a cramp in my leg. All right, so we were going to do this, and it's been a while. A couple of weeks we've been planning on talking.
Been kicking
about
this topic to the side. Yeah.
because we've had some heated debates between the two of us on this.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so here we go. This is from Reddit, and this is for our toddlers. Somebody explain what gentle parenting actually is supposed to be, supposed to look like. What I've been reading about parenting techniques versus what actually see from parents are vastly different. Maybe I am not understanding correctly. I feel like every time I interact with a child who is gentle parented, they are very poor boundaries and are generally just behave horribly. I suspect that the parents involved are actually just very passive, permissive parents who use gentle parenting as an excuse to avoid confrontation or discipline of any kind. What is gentle parenting supposed to look like in the scenarios like these? Your kid hits you in the face because they don't want to get in the car seat. Your kid throws a fit when you try to put sunscreen on them. Your kid hits another kid because they don't want to share something. All right. Duchess, your thoughts.
Yes.
Now, Lisa, it's not genital parenting. That's illegal.
That's a whole nother game.
That's
not,
a whole nother thing.
for not under 18-year-olds.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to equate gentle parenting. It has, I said, started probably after Gen X. We grew up with threats. I know they worked because that's what our parents did, but it didn't. I don't think it translated well. What I'm saying is, I think that sometimes you just don't have to always smack your kid. Sometimes you don't have to yank them to do something. Sometimes you can easily stop a situation by removing them, especially if they're small. Like they're, 1, 2, 3, you can pick them up and move them. You have the ability to do so. If they're doing something inappropriate or poor behavior, you stop them from doing it. And then you say no, and you explain, well, as much as you can at that age level. We don't hit. No hitting. Hitting's bad. And you don't have to hit them and say no hitting, because that is a mixed message completely. So, but with gentle parenting, you have to be consistent. And I'll equate it terribly to like dog training. You have to stay with it. You have to be consistent with your message. Otherwise, you have shitty kids that behave horribly and there's no consequences on anything in their life, which I'm pretty sure you're going to be playing some clips of some horrible, horrible children who would probably at this point now deserve to get beaten with a belt.
Who, me?
Like we did. I know you. You're gonna because I know how you side with this, but I also think that you see your response to anybody who breaks down is, oh, it's gentle parenting. That's what happens. And it's not always gentle parenting. Like some of these kids that you see on TikTok that are horrific, it's not because they were gentle parented. They weren't parented at all. They were just like, do what you want. These are the kids that sat down in front of games and TV, digital. They weren't parented. The internet raised these kids like feral monsters. So that's my thoughts.
Kind of like this.
I need a new TV!
He needs a Stairmaster.
What?
All right, so she said no, and now the kid's looking for a baseball bat because he's going to break the TV.
Okay, let's set the stage a little more. It's a very large 12-year-old, maybe?
Fat. He's fat.
He's a kid who obviously is not getting out. He's not riding his bike.
He's fat.
Or leaving his house at all.
I'll be honest with you, he might even be on the autism scale. He might be a spectrum kid.
It could be.
So now he's looking
even more so to be consistent.
Right. Looks like he's in the basement, and now he's looking for a bat.
He wants a TV.
Vincent! Who's the bat? Vincent, listen to me. Don't break the TV.
Don't break it. Now he's got a bat in his hand, and she's saying, don't break the TV. This is where she needs to go over there and unarm him with that bat. She needs to go over there and take that bat off of him.
Now, I'm going to say this child has obviously learned poor behavior because his mother's reaction is to film him instead of going over and resolving the situation immediately. If you walked in and said to your mother, I need a TV in my room, your mother would have hit you with that bat.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. But my point is that by standing here filming your child, what are you teaching them?
Oh.
What is it? There's no
I
lesson
don't know
in
who's
this that this
filming.
kid's going to act
Honestly,
like an
I don't
asshole.
think it's the mother because you see the mother in the video and you see this kid. So this might be another sibling filming this. Boomer Bob
God.
says John's playing old home movies. Bugger says he's not fat. He's just short for his size. Lisa says, I've seen kids with gentle parenting. Yes, that kid right there. I see kids like this every day at my job. They need a whoop ass.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Are you gonna buy me a new one? No. Are you gonna buy me a new one? Nope. You're not gonna buy
All right, so
I have not seen this video. I've seen this floating around. I have not watched it, so I have no idea what this kid does.
Okay,
he
here
breaks
he
that
goes.
TV. Oh my god!
the fucking kid broke the bat and it didn't break the TV. And he's like, did you see the look on his face? Like,
Back that up because I totally even missed that. I was so
All right,
busy
here.
trying not to watch this kid act like a
right.
dick.
Nope. You're not gonna buy me no.
Did he even hit the TV?
yeah. So now he drops it. My mother would have picked the broken piece of bat up and been beating, would have rained blows down on me.
I would never even gotten as far as to swinging at that bat. My mother,
Okay.
I would have been dead. I knew not to. That is a tough TV. That's the basement TV. That's probably
Right.
TV from 15 years ago when you could still hit him.
All right, so now he goes,
See what happens?
see what happens? You broke your baseball bat.
Why is she not at him?
Right, exactly.
At him. My mother would have. Oh, I can't. My mother was so much bigger than me. Like I was terrified of my mother. There's no
Right.
way.
Lisa says the parents film it to show what happens. Their word against the kids, unfortunately. All right, so here you go.
All right, I can see that.
No.
Now he picks up a pole.
Looks like a piece of rebar or something. It's
Yeah,
awful.
it's a metal
oh my
pole.
God.
And now he's heading
No,
back.
buy me a new one. No, you can't.
So he tries to hit it again. That doesn't work.
Vincent.
Now, she's still saying, Vincent, stop.
Consequences. You need
Right?
to. You need to reinforce this behavior way long ago.
Okay,
Way
so
long
now the
ago.
kid, he gets smart. He's like, I'm going to break this TV. I'm going to have to use the other end of this thing. So now he's like,
You did that. You gonna buy me a new one? No! Stop! Oh my gosh, your father. It's gonna flip out. Okay. You buy me a new one? No. 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 Stop! Stop! You gonna buy me a new one? No. Hey, no. It's done. It's done. Don't do.
it's okay. You broke the TV. It's done. Just stop breaking it. It's already broken. It says the kid needs Eddie Murphy's shoe throwing mother in the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see Asian women? Asian women can shoot the flip flop
It's
up into their
was
hand.
it the chancla?
and
It's
f-
it's
and
like the
throw
Mexican
it.
moms.
Like
They
in
huff
one-
them shoe up. Yep.
Yeah, one motion.
Just stop.
All right,
You
this
want me to
kid's
do it?
got
Stop.
some
Try to break it
issues.
even more. No.
See, so that's the end of the video. But
You know what? She should have called it. At that point, that kid, you have to.
call the police. Were you going to say call the
There's
police?
well, maybe not call the police, but that
would you
child
call?
obviously. Well, he's fucking big. He's mostly if he's swinging things around and breaking things.
Did you see
you know,
the mother?
we're-
The mother was no.
she's
mother
no
was
little
no
lady either.
petite
Yeah.
flower.
I understand that, but there's a point where, and again, just going by what this kid is, I don't know if this kid's got like touch of the tism or something floating around in there to make this even more of a difficult situation. But we'll just assume it's poor behavior because that's the only thing I'm going to go with. You have to parent your kid. You can't let them become that.
Right.
But
When he
that's
picked
why
up that
parenting is a
pipe-
lot of fucking. Oh my God, no.
When he picked up that pipe,
never
you
would
go
have
over
happened.
there and take it off of him. And if he comes at you, you beat him with it. And I'm sorry. You can say whatever you want. All you do is you hit him till he stops coming at you. And that'll teach him a lesson.
Well, you
Again,
can't do that now
she
because
told him to-
you'll go to jail. You'll
Hey,
go
he
to
was
jail.
attacking me. Look at the video. He was
Well,
attacking me. Look what he did to the TV. He was attacking me.
Yeah. Lisa
Bugger
says
says
they
he's
call
a
the
real-
police.
He says a real life Eric Cartman. They do call the police to bring them to the hospital or juvenile detention.
Because parents can't control their children.
Yeah. See,
Now,
this is,
again, we'll take away the mental illness because some kids genuinely do have some forms of issues. That I understand. But if this kid's just a shitbag and poor behavior because his parents never said fucking no,
yeah.
now you're going to unleash this idiot into the world.
Well,
he's going to
he's been-
vote. He's going to drive. He's going to have kids. He's going to be abusive. That's a terrible way to
He has been
create that child.
parented all that time. You've got to start him young.
Has he been parented? Yeah. Not really.
He's not been parented. He has not been parented until the age of whatever age he is right there. All right, so here we go. Here's gentle parenting versus not gentle parenting. Here we go.
No.
So what we have here is a little kid. He's got a water gun and he's squirting his mother, and his mother says no. So the kid bends down. He squirts her again. She takes the water gun and punts it.
Close it.
Bingo.
All
That's
right.
what works.
All right,
Yep.
now here we go. Here's Mama.
Remove the problem. Yep.
Right, here's Mama. Mama's telling her to get out
Close
of her.
it. Hey. Get out of the fridge. Come on. Yes. Come on.
Get the fuck out of the freezer!
That's it.
get out.
Kid comes, father's like, get the fuck out of the freezer. Kid's like, ah. And out
No,
of the
that
freezer
kid would have
goes.
not had more than one chance. You don't give him chances. It's no. You take them out. You don't stand there and go, no, stop. I said no. No, move child. Done.
All
I
right,
don't
so
understand.
I saw this video earlier. This is pieced together. Before, this is little Timmy.
Yep,
Little
like-
Timmy has walked over and he's put his foot in his sister's bucket. I don't
Like a
know,
bowl.
whatever.
Like they're
A bowl.
playing a game. She's
Right, and the
shit's got his
sister
foot in the
wants
bowl.
him to take his foot out of there, and she starts smacking him. And the mother goes, "That's not a good choice, Timmy. Stop! You got to make better choices. Make better choices, Timmy. Make better choices." And the kid's just sitting there looking at her with his foot in the bowl, and he ain't doing a fucking thing.
Because Timmy needs to be shown how to make a better choice, not just talk at them. We don't just talk at them. It's action. Yeah.
Well, here we go.
Go ahead.
Theo, get out. Theodore, get out of the bucket.
In other words, I'm sorry, it was Theodore, not Timmy.
Whatever.
Theodore. Get out of the bucket. And the kid's like, okay, all right.
Bob
right,
says,
here's-
grab some of that hair and remove them from the fridge. Like,
Right.
boop.
Exactly. All right, here we have a young. All right, and he is also not paying attention.
Please get out the Please get out the captain. Get your motherfucking ass out the cabin. Cross, get down. Do not touch. No, no. Cross, get your ass down now.
Put it back. Leave it alone. Kaden. Leave it alone!
Can you please put my purse back? Put the purse back, honey.
Now threaten her and see what happens.
Put the purse back now!
See?
Can you please stop hitting me with that?
No.
Thank you.
Stop!
Her little face was cute.
This is
Now,
what
I'm not
talking about.
saying you can't raise your voice,
Right.
but it's a gentle parenting is just a is a style, and that's fine. If you don't want to yell, you can yell, but she could have also just taken that from her hand and said
Right.
no. And
Now-
it's not, can you please stop? You're hurting. It's no hitting. Like, it's short command. You have to just tell them no. Boom. And like that. I know it sounds very easy. I sort of did that with my girls. They did get yelled at too, but I didn't want to hit them because we always got whacked when I was a kid. But there were times you had to act aggressively with them, and it did work. It did work. They did not. My girls did not like getting yelled at. They would cry every time. So you just had to like kind of loom at them, and they would kind of buckle under.
All right, so my daughters, all right, so I had my stepdaughter, and she was very, very aggressive. Okay, so, and my ex-wife was very passive. Did the same thing. Very gentle parenting kind of person. And we had a lot of trouble with my stepdaughter. She was, she needed more than gentle parenting. She needed some come to Jesus moments. Which every once in a while she would get from me.
Right.
And then I was the bad guy, of course, because, you can't parent your kid. So, and I got to put up with this shit. And I'm not.
Well,
you
sometimes.
You might take that shit from her, but I'm not taking that shit from her.
Well, sometimes there does need to be, on an instance, there's a good cop and a bad cop. And that's okay too.
Right. Well,
that's not
see,
a
that
terrible
was never
thing.
that was never the
But
truth. See,
that needs to
was
change
the
all the
good
time.
Cop, and
You
then
were
when I
always
was
the
the
bad
bad
guy.
cop,
Yeah.
the mother was the agent for the child, was the child's agent.
Well,
all right, so
that's
then we
not
had
good.
Christina and we had Megan, and those two girls, you would tell them one time, "Don't do that. Stop doing that," and they never did it again. They'd listen to you all the time.
Gentle parenting.
Parenting them.
Yep.
That's fine. And then you had Jessica, and Jessica was hell on wheels.
Was she the one who was on the phone with us last night?
No, that was Megan. Jessica
That was
the
Megan,
one.
okay.
She just cuts my hair. She's a little tiny Jamingo. And,
She's the little one. Yeah.
Oh, and that one there, you would have to physically remove her, take her, you'd put her in a room, she'd come running back out again. She was a nightmare. Now, at 22, they're all kind of calmed down a little bit, and to be honest with you, I think that they are all, and I don't think they need any parenting anymore. What they need now is when they come to you you talk to them about things,
Right.
and then they can make up their own minds. Because that's how I do it now.
Learn how to problem solve. Yeah.
Right. But what happens?
They come to you and you discuss it. Yeah.
Right. Is when you gentle parent these kids, and they go out into the world, they think that they can just be gentle, like everybody's going to do this to them, and the world's not that way.
No.
This is where it brings me to a college student that has probably been gentle parented her whole life.
No warning. Ma'am.
All right, so what we have here is this is on college, and this kid has a sign, and this girl doesn't like the sign, and she decides to take the sign and pull it out of the guy's hand, and she's going to go throw the sign away because she doesn't agree with this gentleman's whatever's on the sign. We never do find out whatever's on the sign.
Oh, she's not gentle parented.
Right, so
she would know consequence. Yeah.
Right, so she takes the sign, and off she goes with it.
Don't steal the sign. You can't steal
It says warning, abortion. Okay, something to do with abortion. All right, here we go.
the sign. You're on camera stealing a sign. Sam! Officer, she's stealing a sign. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, no. Now the officer gets involved. The officer, she's like, I'm leaving. I'm going somewhere. All right, so now the officer gets involved.
You're not going anywhere. Right now you're being detained. Okay?
Detained for what?
Larceny? You stole his sign.
He has it back.
Okay.
No, I didn't steal the sign.
I gave it back.
Yeah, I gave
Excuse
it
me.
back. I didn't steal a
Two
car.
wrongs.
Well, as
you
soon
know?
as you stopped me, I gave it right back to him.
Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't steal the sign. I gave it right back. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I don't still have it. Well,
Right,
again,
he has it.
consequence. Yeah.
How can I be stealing a sign when he has the sign?
Because I got it from you.
I moved it 50 yards.
I just took it 50 yards. I just took the sign from him and kept it 50 yards.
Took it
And
for a walk.
Right,
Yeah.
and if you wouldn't have come over here and stopped me, maybe made me give the sign back to him, I'd still be walking with the sign. But you can't prove that because you stopped me, and it's only been 50 yards.
I don't care if you moved it 1 foot. You don't have a right to take someone's property, okay? Period. I don't care what the circumstance is. You don't have a right to take anyone's property. He was holding it, therefore it was his, and you took it, okay? I know you may not agree with what's being said, but you don't have a right to take someone's property, period, okay? 16 minutes in.
What?
You're under arrest for harm.
She's under arrest for warning. What? I got mommy.
Admitted to taking a sign.
Well,
Tears instantly.
all I did was I just walked it over here. I was gonna give it back to her.
No, you weren't. You got caught, honey.
You
got
lying
caught.
bitch.
If that cop wasn't right there, she'd have just chucked it. Yeah.
Right. I was going to give it back to him. Liar.
I didn't mean to.
Liar.
So I'm guessing she's in college, maybe North Carolina.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. So
Don't go to cuffs. So. I'm just saying, you got to, you have these kids, you have to raise them. You have to raise them to be,
right.
Normal members of society. I mean, you see
Right.
what's going on now with kids in college with the protests, and they get the tents and they're out there now and they take over buildings, and they should be arrested. Now, here's the problem. They get arrested, they go to jail or whatever, and then the liberals come in and they bail them out, and then they don't charge them, and the college doesn't charge them. So what you're teaching them is that they can get away with this.
See, that ties into part of the gentle parenting. So a clip that I had put into a Discord for us to discuss. So it says consequences should always be related to the offense and age appropriate. So as the child's age. Gentle parenting should be loving and encouraging, but firm. Too few warnings don't give kids enough control, but too many warnings tell them they can do whatever they want with no consequences. So again, it's a fine line that you have to walk, and you need to be consistent on it. Otherwise, you have, the chunky monkey smashing the TV. You've got the kid with his foot in the bucket who just does they just do what they want, but you have to respond appropriately. And then you got this dipshit who thinks stealing is okay because she gave it back because she got caught. And that's not okay. Now, I would love to know what her mother said when she called.
Oh, I guarantee you. Yeah, I guarantee you she's trying to sue the school. I guarantee it wasn't her daughter's fault.
I wouldn't have called. There's no way. I would have to sit in jail. Do you think my mother would have bailed me? My mother would have been like, you want to stay there.
Yeah.
Because if I have to come get you, I would take the beating in jail. I'd rather get beat up by people in jail. There's no way I'd want to get out.
Budweiser says, but officer, I'll lose my scholarship for African transgender basket weaving. Lisa says, oh, the crocodile tears are flowing.
But I didn't steal it much. Yeah.
Same thing for student loans. You're teaching them that they don't have to pay back their debt and that they will be asking for a mortgage gift in the coming years. Oh, yeah.
I know.
Budweiser says, but officer, believe women. Uh-oh, we have a fan.
Uh-oh.
Soft Weekly's in the house. Says, Duchess stole my heart. Lock her up.
You're such a liar. But thank you.
Next thing you know, you'll be over there on Soft Weekly's show, being a guest. Sparky says, what is a woman? I don't know. Nobody seems to be able to tell anybody.
I don't know. We'll go back to the beginning. So,
I mean, okay. So Bob's getting into a story we're going to be doing a little bit about the California mortgages, and I can probably go into that right now. So Nancy Pelosi.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Sure you can.
People used to do this to Eric in the show. Be like, hey, you're going to talk about blah, 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 blah. And he'd be like, why are you getting ahead of what I'm talking about? And he would berate listeners and people on the podcast for like advancing information up about something he was going to talk about. So essentially,
he's an asshole.
I know, he's
Eric's
poking
an
a hole in the
asshole.
balloon, and he just
And I'm like, okay, well,
that just reminded me. You're like, well, we're going to talk about that. And it's
Yeah,
just-
we are going
it
to
just-
talk about that. So
it just triggered a
but see, I can
terrible memory. Mm-hmm.
move things around. I can
Yes.
go on the fly. I can change things
You
on the
can
fly.
roll with it. You
I can roll with the punches.
That's right.
Budweiser,
That's
don't
what we
say
do.
don't you say, don't even compare Eric
He
Zane to
wishes.
Little Stern. Please. All right. So Nancy Pelosi was on Bill Maher's show the other night, and he was talking to her about immigration and this whole thing about the housing and all.
The California lawmakers just passed a law. It hasn't been signed by Governor Newsom, but giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses.
He said ignorance, but
close, pretty much.
That's kind of a different place than the Democratic Party used to be on immigration, is it not? I'm not going to say that's what the country's going to do, but that's certainly where California is.
Well, let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue.
Yeah, back in the day, in the 90s, you were all against it. You, Obama, Chuck Schumer, you were all saying that we had to close down the southern border. See, what's going on right now is...
Bill Clinton was in agreement for that. He wanted to.
See you because I'm wasted. But what I'm saying is that we all need to be on the same page. It's not immigration.
She's the worst.
They're just joyful warriors that just happen to come across the road.
Why is she even? Who even has this woman on anymore? She's she's barely competent or cognizant.
I refer you to
but not free houses.
Well, that's not free housing. It's.
Oh, you're right there, honey.
Not for you.
It's not free housing. It's everybody in California gives every illegal alien a $150,000 gift so they can buy a fucking house. Whether
so they can buy an
pay
overly
for their
inflated house. Yeah.
Right. In other words, you're taxing us to give us services. All right?
No,
and provide safety. And you are doing neither. What you're doing is you're coming in and you're buying votes. This is the same thing you did with the students. I'm going to forgive $10,000 a student loan. And he knew he couldn't do it, and he knew that the Supreme Court would shoot it down, and he just said it so fucking stupid students would go, I'm voting for Joe. I'll get $10,000 off my student loans.
Oh, for Uncle Joe, yeah.
Uncle Joe. Here we go.
The American dream being available to more people, but understand this about immigration.
How about American citizens?
The best speech on immigration was by President Ronald Reagan. This is the last speech I will make as President of the United States. I want to communicate a message to the country I love. And he talked about the Statue of Liberty and the beacon of hope it is to the world, and what America was preeminent in the world because our door was always open, and we will...
Yeah, they weren't climbing the fucking fence. They were coming in the door like the way they're supposed to.
And we had all kinds of land to give them to them. We had a country to fill up, okay? But now it's full, okay? And you know what else they didn't do? They didn't give them all kinds of money, and they, and they went out and
everything.
They worked, right?
Yeah.
And they had to come in and they had to become citizens, and they had to, and that's not happening anymore. They're just coming across the border. And we're going to get into the
They hand them a
Colorado
driver's
thing,
license, place to live, and
so
then
they can vote. This is all so they can. This is all so they can get them to vote and get them to vote Democrat. This is what they're trying
the election.
To do. This is yes, right. All right, Bob's way ahead of the show now. I might have to yell at him. Hold on, here we go.
Ceased to be preeminent when we shut the door. Now, I don't do justice to the great communicator. Google it. It's a fabulous speech.
Because Google,
Google it. It's a great speech by a Republican.
And George Herbert Walker Bush continued in that respect for the diversity of America and the rest. California's always in the lead. Maybe others will follow that lead, but that's up to those states. But
in the lead for what?
Blessed here with
immigrants?
Diversity.
They're in the lead for raping their constituents. And
for aliens
the money.
piling into the country? Oh, my God.
They're the modern-day Robin Hood. They rob from the poor to give to the poorer is what they do. You know, I saw something, and it was, what's that guy that used to play with? He played the Hulk. Not Bill Bixby, but the other.
Lou Ferrigno.
No. Mark Ruffalo. Mark
Oh,
Ruffalo.
you're going. Oh, he's a fucking dipshit.
He's another
What a
communist.
fucking moron.
And he was sitting there
Yeah.
talking about how, unions for this and all. And they said, you know something? He should be right. You know what they should do? Is should take all the top earners from movies that make millions of dollars from these pictures and then take that money back and
Trickle it
distribute
down.
it to the other actors that don't make that much money.
For even, just so everybody has the same.
Yeah, everybody has the same. Right?
I think that's
Is
fair.
that what you should do, Mark? Whoa, hold on, America. Whoa.
Bud Booger
Oh, I
says,
didn't
Hulk
say that.
smashed the American dream.
Right.
Hulk
No worries.
smashed.
God, I hate this.
You'd vote for this law?
Excuse me?
So you'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but
Hey, I'm not familiar.
Backpedal.
I'm not
going to
familiar.
commit myself.
Yeah,
She
you're
just
familiar.
talked about how great it was, and then, but I'm not familiar with it.
So you would vote for this horseshit thing? Oh, no, I don't know anything about it. I've just talked about it for the past 5 minutes.
making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something.
You know who would like to have the
About two
American dream
Americans.
of
Yeah.
home ownership? Actual Americans that were born in this
My kids
fucking
would like to
country.
buy a house. Yeah.
I got a couple daughters that would love to be able to buy a house right now. They can't afford it. You can't
No.
afford it. You can't afford
Can't
it.
afford.
Because your government's giving all the money to the illegals. You can't afford it. You
Send
know,
it overseas.
Yeah.
And you have to do for people
God.
who
4
are here
years.
now.
Oh, look at that. Look at her jerking this. This is what I'm doing. I'm jerking off the country. Watch this.
Available to all people is something we have to do for people who
Before
are here
you.
now.
This is before
Oh
you.
my God.
It's undocumented.
Nancy.
Nancy, what are we doing here, Nancy?
Girl.
Available to all people is something we have to do for
Hey, Bill.
people who
Before
are
you.
here now.
This is before you.
She having a stroke? What is she doing?
This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that
What fucking morons?
What? Oh, so they turn the applause light on? Oh.
Yeah,
Everybody in
all
the
the-
audience
all
like a
the
bunch of dummies.
Fucking liberal seals are in the audience. Motherfuckers. Can you believe
I'd
this?
like to move them over to document. Yeah,
I
just
would-
flip
yeah.
the fucking switch. How about everybody in that audience takes an immigrant under each arm and they can take them home?
Yeah.
There you go. Problem solved.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that we can move them to documented.
Fuck all of you.
One of the best things that we can do for our economy is to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
No, one of the best things you could do for the economy is actually lower taxes and stop spending so much fucking money. Good
Seriously.
God.
You know, that libertarians do have it right on a lot less government. I can't
know.
even. This is
I mean,
just insane.
and you know, people are, listen, I'm telling you, people are waking up, but I don't think we're waking up enough people.
In 2016, you would have labeled me as a never Trumper, and I was. I was very outspoken at the time against Donald Trump. I found him to be very crude. I had a major problem with his moral shortcomings, and I just didn't understand why people would follow this man. In fact, when it came time to vote, I wrote in another candidate.
Smart, real smart. So basically what he was saying is,
Uncle
you know,
Joe Gun.
Trump's out there fucking other women instead of his wife. But you know what? I'd rather have him out there fucking other women than vote for the Democrats that are fucking the country, is where he's basically at right now.
Well, you have to hold your
However,
nose
now
and pick
in
your best choice.
2024, I will be voting for Donald J. Trump. You say, why have you changed? What has changed your mind over that time period? One thing is record. So Donald Trump still says a lot of stupid stuff. I'll be the first to admit that. He tweets some things, says some things that just make me cringe. But I'm more concerned about what a person does compared to what they say. We've had a...
Okay. I agree with this. I used to say, will someone go
Right.
into that bathroom and take that fucking phone off of him and have him stop
He
fucking
does.
tweeting?
It's so stupid.
All right.
He's really
but
dumb.
He's not a politician. Donald Trump's not a politician. He says what he means. He means what he says, and he says what he means. He
Yeah.
talks from
It's
his
not
heart.
pretty. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
It's not
It's not
pretty.
pretty.
He's
Right.
an East Coast guy. And
That's right.
that's what this New Jersey, New York, that's what this attitude is.
Meanwhile, you've got Kamala Word Salad Harris
she's
that
such a
goes in there
fucking
and just
moron.
starts spouting off fucking half sentences and turns things around. You're like, what the fuck did she just say? Holy shit. Let's get back to Skippy here.
lot of politicians that say all the right things, but they don't do any of those things. During Donald Trump's presidency, we had a better economy. You can argue that all you want. The Democrats have been in power 12 of the last 16 years, and the economy's been terrible under their leadership. The 4 years when we had a Republican, it was good. And we didn't have any wars under Donald Trump. By the way, we can compare that to the other candidate, who we also have their record. It just baffles my mind. Everybody says this is what she's going to do and the change she's going to make. She's in power right now. We can compare record to record. And I'll tell you, I'll take Donald Trump's record any day of the week over what we've had the past 3.5 years under Biden and Harris. It's been absolutely abysmal. And to be truthful, I'm voting against some things. I am totally against censorship. You would think in the United States of America, we would hold tightly to the freedom of speech and understand that dictatorships take place under censorship and under controlling of speech. And that's exactly what's been happening or attempting to be happening under the Biden-Harris administration. And they're going to continue to do that. It came out, Mark Zuckerberg admitted, and he's not a conservative, that he was pressured by the Biden-Harris administration to censor vital information. Every single American should be strongly against censorship in any form or fashion. I'm voting against attacks on democracy. It's amazing that they say that voting Donald Trump in democratically, correctly, is somehow going to hurt democracy. But what they've done is they conducted a coup, and then they just said, this is your candidate, and placed somebody in that position without a single vote. That is what you should be fearful of. I'm voting against the people that have literally come out and said, you will own nothing and be happy about it. You know who all those people are and who they support and who they put their money behind? It's not the Republican Party. The Democrats are now a machine. And the person that they run, they trot out there as their candidate is not actually the president of the United States. I mean, you ought to sue your brain for non-support if you think that Joe Biden has been the president for the last 3.5 years. He's just a figurehead. And that's the same thing that Kamala Harris will be. You say, well, why did they choose her? Because, let's be honest, the color of her skin and her gender. And they think that you're foolish enough, and it seems to be true because I scroll through TikTok too, that some of y'all are ignorant enough to vote for somebody based solely on the color of their skin and their gender, and totally overlook the fact that they're trying to take away your First Amendment right, your Second Amendment right, the fact that they're trying to censor you, the fact that they're going to tell you this is your candidate and you don't even get to vote, and you'll be okay with all of that because, woohoo, we got the first woman president. Surely you're not that ignorant.
Okay. Now, he says that, she's against censorship, and you're like, well, come on, that's not true. I mean, was she... Let's just listen to Kamala.
He has lost his privileges, and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And
oh my God, are you kidding me? That's horrible. That's hard. You're telling me that people go into a social media spot and they speak their mind and their feelings and everything, and they don't have any oversight or any kind of moderation. That's horrible. I mean, that's free speech, you feckless cunt. That's what
scary.
that is.
Yeah.
That's free speech, what I just did. And I can say that to you because you're running for office. And you know something? When they made the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and everything, you work for us. We don't work for you. And somehow that has flip-flopped, and now we want to get it back, and I don't even know if we can get it back.
No.
I got Jody B. We're in the Rumble chat. He says, I bet he learned a lot from that first term, meaning Trump. I truly believe he rolled in a bit the second time. And he also says that guy that was talking is saying what he's been thinking. So that's good. I'm glad.
I think a lot of people are thinking like that because it's so much has come to light in the past, I'll say, since maybe even the Trump attempted assassination, like all of a sudden, like people are going, wait a minute, wait a fucking minute here. And I think as people are realizing what's going on and how much they're in the dark for so much stuff, it's overwhelming. And then, you know, again, nobody can afford things. You got to pay your bills. You got to pay the food that, I don't know about you, but like we talked, I think last week or the week before about how everything's going up. But somehow these politicians seem to be doing all right.
They're doing fine. They don't care. It's no big deal.
They're doing great. So they just don't want to fuck with anything. They don't care. As long as their shit still's rocking fine.
You know, they did this back in France. They had the haves and the have-nots. And then what happened was all the have-nots came out. Ow. I can't get rid of this cramp. Sorry. All the have-nots came out with a bunch of guillotines. And guess what? There was a lot of headless haves after that.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want it to come to that. But, I mean, it's bullshit. And you cannot, and people are saying this, and she doesn't want Kamala Harris. She wants oversight, and she wants somebody that, you know, she wants to clamp down on this. And she said that. And, you know, I've had enough of this now.
But she doesn't mean that. That's not the way she's thinking now.
Okay.
Because no matter what she said in the past, it's now, but that's different. That's different. I'm like, but it's really not.
So Thursday night, right after we got done doing the podcast, Kamala Harris had her very first interview with the media in 30-something days, over a month. I think it was even more than that, whatever it was. And she picked CNN, and she picked that lapdog, Dana Bash. And she had to bring her support animal, Tim Tampon Walls with her. And they got and they had to pre-tape it. Like, in other words, it wasn't live, and they had to pre-tape it. So they did a 41-minute episode. Out of that 41-minute episode, I think we saw 18 or 19
I thought it was 17 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they edited out all the giggles, all the and the hand flying and all this, that, and the other. So half of that's gone.
Right. So out of 41 minutes, we got to see half of it.
Yep.
Okay. So then they edited that. And they also had Dana Bash. Now, I said Thursday night, wait till you see the ball washing and bending over backwards and niceties that Dana Bash is going to be towards Kamala Harris. Because she certainly wasn't that way when she interviewed J.D. Vance. And I have a little video over here, which would be, which is a comparison between the two. Here we go.
Thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it, Senator. Thank you. You guys seem to be struggling a little bit with how to approach the new dynamic. Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. Bus tour is well underway here in Georgia. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Diana, if you go to Kamala Harris's campaign page right now, they still don't have a policy.
Well, let's talk about policy
positions
versus
about what they're.
So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
So in other words, what she's doing is because Kamala Harris is just sitting there and goes and says nothing. All right. You can't, like, if people wanted the transcript, they wanted the transcript of the whole interview, and the Harris campaign says, no, you can't have it. They asked, so in other words, she said that she is not against banning fracking. She also said she's 100% behind the Green New Deal. So then Dana Bash asked this question. Now, it's not in the interview because they had that pulled out. Some of the people from CNN are leaking this out. The question was that I 100% back the Green New Deal. And then Dana Bash correctly said, well, if you back the Green New Deal, how can you also not want to ban fracking? And she sat there for 10 to 15 seconds and had nothing to say. Yeah, blink, 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 blink. And
but
had
they
nothing
edited
to
that.
say, and they edited that all out because that's checkmate. What she is a fucking liar.
No,
but
she
I mean,
just flaps her gums. She doesn't even no even thoughts. It's just whatever she thinks she's going to say to get elected.
Right. So
Clear
here
as
we
mud,
go.
like Bob
So
said.
here's and then now she goes back at J.D. Vance.
There's no evidence that Kamala Harris threw him overboard, but
no evidence. There's no evidence that Kamala Harris threw him overboard when she said Kamala Harris had him removed from the presidency. No, there's no evidence that she did. She was part of it.
She's the last one in the room.
Right?
Of course
she
she
was
did.
part of it. You know who was part of it? They were all part of it. Obama, the Clintons,
Pelosi, Schumer.
They were all, and
Who's that other?
Harris.
Hakeem. What's his
Hakeem
face?
Jeffries.
Yeah, that's
all
slimy
of them.
bastard. Yeah.
Right.
To move on to something that Governor Walz has called you and Donald Trump, and that is weird. How should voters
grow up?
All right, so here you go. Back to Kamala.
Yeah.
Look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've
Soft
explained some
music.
of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about?
She's giving her the answers. You want to pick between this answer, A, B, or C? Did you hear this? Okay, why did you do this? And what we're going to do is we're going to give you some answers here.
How should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? One last question. Governor Walz served 24 years.
Sure.
He even stayed after he could have retired because of 9/11. He filed his election paperwork February 10th, 2005. He retired 2 months before they actually got the paperwork. I've seen a lot of statements from veterans, including those you served with, saying it's just untoward to be criticizing somebody who served for 24 years.
Wow.
He decided to quit, to retire, whatever word you want to use.
Retire. The idea that you said that you were in war. Did you misspeak, as the campaign has said?
Dana, do you think that it's a problem that he said I went to war, but he didn't actually? That seems to be a problem to me.
Well, they've corrected that. Let's move on to when he called you and
let's
said
move
he
on.
was pulling out of the race. What was that like? One last question. Why is not allowing her to end that pregnancy helpful or supportive of expanding families like you want it to be? Kamala Harris has 2 stepchildren. Pete Buttigieg and his husband have adopted twins. Do you recognize them as parents and more broadly as being part of families? You had to clarify that you had said that you and your wife used IVF, but it turned out you used a different kind of fertility in order to have children.
I criticize
please.
people for being anti-child, and I do think that Kamala
Do you
Harris
think she's
has made some
anti-child? The photograph that has gone viral. You were speaking, one of your grandnieces that you were just talking about on that.
Yes, I was looking at my grandniece. Yes.
Viral picture really says it. What does it mean to you?
Okay, you've now asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that opened the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American
I'm interviewing
people
you, not
about
Kamala
Joe
Harris.
Biden's middle.
How about letting him finish his fucking sentence?
She interrupted him every time.
And
So
you
as
know
I
the other
interrupt
thing, you know
sorry.
who her husband is? Her husband was one of the people from the Secret Service or the intelligence communities that signed the letter that said the laptop was Russian disinformation. That was her husband. So you know this is...
Two morons.
Sparky says, yeah, look at that little kid. You know whose little thing... You know those little things us Dems like to abort? Yeah, that thing.
Oh, Boomer Bunker's starting soon?
Is it?
I don't know. That's what it says on the frame.
Oh, well, I guess I screwed up.
It's okay.
I screwed up on the. I got
Just
the
used a different
wrong
frame.
one.
Yeah,
I just
it's all
used the
good.
wrong one. So
There we go.
it happens.
Okay.
It happens.
Yeah,
Well, you do have
she
to-
was incredibly aggressive towards JD Vance, and
Absolutely.
and then Kamala got like, was it somebody put what's your favorite color? Remember Barbara Walters? Who'd she ask like, what's your favorite tree? Like dumb shit like that, like just ridiculous questions to just pad it. I mean, it was this milquetoast interview. It really was.
Sparky says, I need a stage crew. Now, you know what it is? What happened was today as I was looking for stories and doing stuff, I got behind the 8 ball and I just started going and I just misstepped. And you know something? If Duchess didn't say anything, I would have went blowing right past that. I wouldn't even have known that I did that. But that's okay.
Well, I only said it because Sparky put it up.
Oh,
Because I didn't even
starting
notice
soon.
it either.
Oh, okay.
He's like, starting
There you go.
soon? I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to start over again
Right, yes.
in a few minutes.
Okay. What I want to get into now is what's going on in Colorado. And it's been a hot
yeah.
button. And I know that the press is trying to sweep this under the rug, but it's become a situation now, and it's becoming critical.
Yeah.
And it has everything to do with, allowing these illegal immigrants to come over here, not vetting them, finding out that, we're bringing in Venezuela gang members, and we don't even know how they got here, how they were brought here. Were they flown in by the Biden administration because the Biden administration is sending planes to places and just flying them right into cities?
Yeah.
So
Quietly.
It's become an issue
Very
where
quietly.
a gang has been taking over apartment complexes, and people are trying to get out of there, and they are robbing them, and they're collecting the rent, and they won't even let the people that own the apartment complexes onto the property.
How many have they taken over? I've heard at least 3.
I've heard of 3. Okay. So my thing is that where is our government? And this is an epic fail of our government from the local to the county to the state to the federal. This is an invasion. We have a gang of Venezuelans in there taking over. This is an invasion. We should mobilize the.
Why is the military not there?
Yeah, why it was the National Guard, the regular military. I don't give a shit, but they got to be in there. And don't tell me that we can't mobilize SWAT teams, National Guard, sniper teams, and go in there and clear those apartment buildings and arrest these people. Why do you think we're not doing that?
And why is it not getting really good coverage? Although Jody said that someone in Twitter said it's all BS, just media getting folks riled up.
That's
I'm
not
not
all
sure.
BS. It's not all BS. And
I don't think the Ring cameras are.
Right.
There's people walking around with guns.
Well, I figured there'd be a guy like Jody in the chat that was not a non-believer or a skeptic. Let's just call him a skeptic.
Okay.
And if I can find where the fuck I put that. Here it is. Let's listen to the Aurora mayor, the mayor of Aurora, that person.
Aurora, Colorado. Mayor, thank you very much for coming on with us. It seems it's tough
Pleasure
to
having
even
me.
get some confirmation of the details of what is going on there. First off, can you confirm whether or not this gang has taken over these buildings there in Aurora?
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these 3 buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who.
I don't care. I don't care who fucking funded it. I don't care how they fucking got there. I don't give a shit. We can figure that all out once the dust clears. What we need is somebody to go in there and remove them, like a infestation of cockroaches and rats. They need to be taken out of there and removed. Now, if they want to come out with their hands up and be taken into custody, that's fine. If they want to stay in there, then we have to exterminate them, and I have no problem doing that either.
No, they're
Your
hurting
thoughts?
people.
What?
They're hurting people, and I mean it's fucking illegal. They're threatening people. I mean, they're not citizens. They have guns. They're taking over. You can't go to other countries and just take shit over and be like, well, this is mine now. That's not how it fucking works. But
You say
apparently,
that.
here it
They've done
is.
They've done it in England. They've done it in France. They've done it in Germany.
know.
They're doing
Well,
it
it needs
in
to fucking stop.
Norway and Sweden. All right, they're doing it there.
Fucking ridiculous.
All right, so
Ridiculous.
we have that, and then
Neil, thank you. We've been hearing about this for quite some time. Residents have shared their concern. We've heard this coming up at city council meetings there. Aurora said we don't have anything to do with this migrant crisis or trying to help because we just don't have the space. The hospitals were overwhelmed. What is it that you're seeing right now as far as this Venezuelan gang taking over now the migrant centers there?
It's unreal. It's unreal. Residents tell me they feel like they are living in a third world country at this point. They are going block by block. They are going apartment complex by apartment complex. They are taking it over. I think the city doesn't really know how to handle it. So the city is burying certain properties that have been taken over by this Trendy Aragua gang, burying them with code violations and playing it off as if this is just simply code violations. But this gang, they are marking their territory. They are putting up their gang-related graffiti on the blocks, on the areas that they have taken over. And quite frankly, I have heard too many stories from too many property owners, business owners, and residents to think that this is anything other than a complete gang takeover in parts of our city.
Like, what are you hearing from them? So say the business owners, for example, what have they been experiencing?
Break-ins, violence, kicking doors in. I had one property owner tell me that a tenant literally vanished from their property. To this day, they don't know what happened to that tenant. His phone was shut off. They had not collected rent. They went, knocked on the door to get into the unit. The Aurora Police Department had to come let them in the unit, and the whole place was filled with guns, money, and giant barrels of gasoline. I am being told that they are running a black market for gasoline. And again, like I said, to this day, they have no idea what happened to that man, to their tenant.
All right. So we have that going on. And the media is not covering it. Well, they are. Fox News is covering it. So what do we do? What do we do? The police aren't going to help you, and they're talking. You don't need a gun. You don't need an AR-16. You don't need a AK-47. You don't need a bunch of ammunition. You don't need a magazine that is, that has 7 shots or more than 7 shots. You don't need any of that for this. All right, they're going to protect you, but they're not protecting you. You're on your own, and you're at the mercy.
They're getting code violations.
Right.
They're getting code violations. They're not fucking residents.
Exactly.
They're not citizens. They
Nope.
with the way this immigration has been happening, and it's not immigration, really. It's just they're just crossing borders by the thousands. It's not families fleeing. It's men. It's young men. There's certain ages of men. They're coming in and they're taking over. It's systematic. I hate to think like everybody's out to get us, but it's a little fucking weird. There's some weird, right. It's not Trump and JD Vance. It's the fact that the government's turning a blind eye to all of these folks hemorrhaging into the country and taking over cities, taking things over.
They've caused it. They've caused this. They know that they've caused this, and they can't have this, and they're almost to the point now where they can take over. If they can beat Donald Trump in this election, then they can. They got 4 years to put in all their policies and run roughshod over everything else, and we won't be able to do anything. So what do we need to do? Well, I'll be honest with you. It's time for
States of America, most powerful country on this planet. And it's not because we have more money or we're better looking. No. It's because we have something in this country they don't have in other countries. That's right. I'm talking about rednecks. Good old boys with an arsenal in their basement that have been waiting for just such an occasion since 1775. Oh, believe me, foreign troops land in the South, there'll be a line of pickup trucks and NASCARs heading down I-95. Marines will show up 3 hours later, nothing but beer cans and shotgun shells. What the hell happened here? War's over, baby!
And people are starting
He's
to get
kind of not wrong.
Right. People are starting to get pissed, and veterans are starting to get pissed. And I have this gentleman here.
Dude, I've lived in Colorado now for 4 months. And, you started hearing about, the migrants and stuff in Aurora. And then it, escalated. They're taking over fucking, more than one apartment complexes. And, extorting residents for rent. And I'm thinking to myself, what are we doing? They're saying they're saying that the police won't do anything, the feds won't do anything, marshals won't do anything. Okay, well, like, where the vets at? Like, I'm dead ass. Fucking hit me up. Like, if we can get fucking couple squads plus, this is an invasion. This is an enemy domestic. Holy shit. Let's do it.
He's ready, man.
That guy better watch it. He's going to get a knock on his door. He's going to be like,
Well,
did you make a threatening
okay, so
video
what are we
on
doing
TikTok?
here?
Yeah.
Again, what are we doing here?
I know.
I
Well,
mean,
he'll
they're not
get
doing
busted.
anything for
Yeah.
you. They're not doing anything for us. So
Calling the A-team. Oh, my God.
okay,
That's about right. That's where we're at.
Right. Hang on a second. Get this. Try this one more time. No. All right. So now they say the Hell's Angels are coming. All right. Now they're waiting for a biker gang, a 1%er biker gang to show up. And you know what? I don't think they're showing up. And if they did show up, that would be stupid. They would be stupid because here's what I think that would happen.
They'll get arrested. Yeah.
Right. The military, if that guy, like the guy that just talked, that was there, he's like, come on, let's go. Let's get a bunch of teams, let's get a couple brigades together and let's go in and do it ourselves. I know, man. I can't help there's a fuzzy screen. I'm trying. There we go.
There you
Stop
go.
it. There we go. Anyhow, Mr. Fuzzy Screen. The police would come and arrest the people that were trying to take out the migrants, right? The people that are basically going in there and doing the damage and taking over the apartment complexes, the people that are here illegally. The Hell's Angels shouldn't show up. You know what? I appreciate your service, and you know something?
They should stick to like police escorts for soldiers and then blocking those terrible church people who show up and picket outside of service members' funerals and things. Do that. Do the good things that you guys do, because they do really good things for kids and groups and things like that. That's what they should stick with.
Yes. Unless these migrant gangs hurt one of their people.
Oh, then that's the last anybody's going to see them Venezuelans.
Right.
Then it's going to be
then they will show up, and you know what? You won't see media coverage of this either, because those fucking media people get out, and the next thing you know, they're beaten with their own cameras. The fucking Hell's Angels don't mess around. I've
got to reach out to my brother. He lives out in Colorado.
Right.
Not far from Aurora. I actually have to reach out.
Budvugger says some people watch too much Sons of Anarchy. I understand.
True. I've seen a lot of the Hell's Angels dudes. They're retired. They're like, look, these guys worked like whatever for like 40 years. These chunky guys getting on their bikes, and good for them. But like,
there's some badasses there too. There's some badass people, ex-military. I wouldn't fuck with with a bet.
Oh, I'm not suggesting anybody fuck with them whatsoever. I don't interfere with bikers. I've met some really great guys that were bikers. There's some really nice peeps, and they've been, if anything, they've been really fun. But I wouldn't want to piss them off.
I think I told the story here where they were in a hotel that I was in when we were in South Carolina. And
I don't think I remember that. Go ahead.
My son was, he was like 3 or 4. And he went blasting out of the restaurant, and I went to chase him, and I went around a corner, and I plowed into 2 of them.
We ran into him?
Yeah, I ran into him. We all went down in a heap, and then I kept running, and I came back, and I apologized. And, hey, man, we got it, But they were nice to us. They were really nice to us. So I have no problem with them whatsoever. But, this is the problem we're having here, is that the governor has now said, well, we're not going to allow gangs to take over these apartment complexes. Bullshit. This is all bullshit. They're trying right now to happy dance this, till after the election's over.
So, yes, Sparky, this is why we had the picture of the bike in the beginning.
This is why we had this placard.
That's why John and I... I'll never look that good ever in my life. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's why that is. And actually, that was all AI generated. I went to AI and I said, take this. I took Duchess's cartoon. I said, take this and make this a badass biker bitch. And that's what came out. And I was like, that works.
That worked. I'm very happy with that. Boomer Bob suggests ending the apartment thing by blasting the Easy Show podcast on a loud PA.
That'll chase him.
Or give him the address and say he's having a yard sale.
Ah, that would work too.
Yeah, I guess he did give me a Honda. I don't know what kind of bike it is. It's red.
That's true.
I don't know anything about motorcycles.
Let me double check. I just grabbed some stuff. I don't know. Let me see which one it is. It does look like a Honda. I got a Harley. Woo.
Beep, beep. I'm surprised you didn't have a sidecar for me. Then I don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
You can just sit along.
Just like the podcast.
Okay. But you have all this stuff. Stop. You knew that coming into this, like 100%.
All right. Well, you yelled at me the other day. So we have our Discord. And in our Discord, we have this one, I don't know, he's a young kid. I think he's retarded, but whatever. His name's Wing Wong.
Poor Wing Wong.
So Wing Wong says, by the way, do we have to talk politics on Sunday? And I'm like, hey, listen, when we do the show, we talk politics. I can't help it. Yeah. I mean, this is what's going on in the world. This is what I'm interested in. And to be honest with you, I'd like to put this out.
Current events.
Well, I don't know what's going on with this stupid camera, but I'm going to try to fix this. Anyhow, so I said, you know what? You don't have to listen to the show. No one holds a gun to your head and tells you to listen to the show. Right. Do what you want, but this is the show we're going to do. And then I said something about speaking retard, and then Duchess says, well, I speak. I said, what did I say? I said something about somebody needs to.
You said you don't speak. You don't
retard.
Speak that.
We need a retard interpreter. And you said, that's what I do twice a week. With me.
Yes.
So it was a very good joke. Hurt
I
me
had
a little,
to teach
but it was a very good joke.
I know. It was funny, but I had to zip you a bit. It was, you know what? You left it way too open. And I was like, I got to come in and.
Listen, I'm very, very proud of you. That was a great joke.
I've been the butt of several jokes.
I just wish it was against Bob.
About you. Oh my goodness!
I know. Yeah, Mike's got it. See, this is how we do this. What we do is we call 911 and tell them that the Venezuelans have shared a garage sale post, and they will be booked in no time. There we go.
You need to show up because that'll scare them. That'll scare them.
Okay. Yeah. We had our fantasy football draft Saturday night.
We did.
We get teams picked. We're ready to go. We have 16 teams. The fighting has already started in my family. Yeah. My ex-wife, my 2 daughters have teams. My girlfriend has a team. Let me just tell you this. Samantha, I'm very, very proud of her. She knows nothing about sports.
She picked well.
No one helped her with her draft. She went in there and she drafted a team and got a B as a grade for her draft. I got a D.
So did I.
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing. And my kids.
We emotionally picked. She didn't have any connection. Like right. You weren't like, I have to have this player. She's like, that one, this one, this one.
Well, she
like
said
based
what she
on
did,
stats or whatever.
She said she went and looked at the ones that got the most points. And she said, well, if they got the most points, they'll be the best players. And she got a B.
There you go.
And she did that all on her own. Like nobody helped her or anything like that. So she did that. Lisa, the champion from last year, she is not backing down. She got an A on her.
She did.
So we have that. Now, here's the deal. We podcast on Sundays and Thursdays, and they are football days. And I said I could use a little break from two days a week. So what we are going to do starting this Wednesday is we're going to go to 1 day a week. It's going to be Wednesday night, 7:00. Same. We go to Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Same bat time, same bat channels.
Yeah, everything's the same. We're just changing it to Wednesday, and we're going to 1 day a week until after the football season. Because
through the Super Bowl, folks.
Yeah, I want to watch football. And I'm like, well, why am I doing a podcast? I'm going to ruin Sunday because I have to get ready for the show. And then Thursday, I won't be able to watch the Thursday night game. So we're just going to move it to Wednesday because we can. We can, and we will.
Well, it was funny because in the pre-show chat, we were chit-chatting out, and John did not seem 100%. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, well, I'm just tired, and it's Sunday, and then the football, and how are we going to do this? And I was like, okay.
I was not a whiny bitch. I just said, I
No, you weren't. I wasn't saying you were whiny. You were just not.
You were the way you were saying it. It made me sound a little whiny. So, I'm not going to lie.
Well, you were a little fussy about it, but you weren't complaining about it, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But now you're being a whiny bitch, so shut up.
Now
you're making it worse. So through the course of the conversation, he's like, well, we podcast the same days as football. And I said, I thought of that. And then he's like, well, I could really use a break. And I was like, then let's go 1 day. Who cares? So
Bob says he'll be filling in the Thursday night slot with Dirty Derek. Well, that's good for you.
Is that Derek's new name? The slot?
No. the slot. No. Well, I guess what I don't know. We haven't heard from Professor Tom in a while. I think those two broke up. I think Bob and Professor Tom broke up. I don't know that. I have no idea. Just haven't seen Tom.
I
in a
like
while.
Just Testing. I'm sorry. I thought that was pretty cool. The name I thought was really good. Just Testing.
The show, not so much. But
what they
I'm
just
only
got.
kidding. I didn't listen to it. I don't know. I'm just
I
kidding.
like it. I'll just live stream our phone calls. Oh,
See?
Dean.
See?
That's so mean. I like Tom. He was interesting.
You like everybody.
He's a very smart man.
I haven't seen anybody that we've met so far that you don't like. You like everybody. You like that
do.
nitwit Red from Shitty Song of the Week.
I do like Red. We had a good
See?
time. I had fun on his show.
Okay, I'm just telling you. Bob says, I quit talking to Tom. He's a miserable bag
Oh.
of shit. Poor
Bob.
Tom. Hey, listen, Tom. I feel your pain.
Did you tell
What can I
Tom
tell you?
that, or is he just finding
He just-
out
no,
now?
He did this passive aggressive where he stops talking to you. You know how Bob is. Doesn't say anything to you.
Bob.
All right, everybody. So that's going to be it for this night. We'll be back on, where is my...
Wednesday.
That's not...
That's what.
All right, we'll be back Wednesday.
So it'll be
7
Wednesday the
o'clock.
4th. Mm-hmm.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th.
And we'll go from there. All right. No, I told him he's a miserable bag of shit and he hung up. That must be
Oh. Jeez, Bob.
All
Subtle.
right, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday night. Have a good week.
Bump into Discord. I'll be there. Good night.